Hello, you're watching Lit Happens, Saskatoon showcase of Saskatchewan's literary talent. And I'm ecstatic about my guest today, Jerry Hay. And Jerry has published a book, The Trouble with Lions, a Glasgow vet in Africa, but he has a new book coming out shortly, and we're going to talk about that a little. But Jerry, I'm just really excited you're here. I didn't even ask you if you'd come here today. I told you were coming.
So I follow orders pretty well. I've been married for 42 years. I know about these things.
Yes, well, because I'm a fan, and actually your work fascinates me. You've combined two careers. You were a vet for many, many years. Well, you still are a vet, but most guys would just retire from that and just sort of go golfing or something. But no, not you. You have to write memoirs about your life as a vet, and I just think that's so inspiring. So tell us about the book. Tell us about The Trouble with Lions.
It's more than just a bit of a memoir. Of course, it's got a lot of memory, as my first book, Wrestling with Rhinos, was as well, and the new one you alluded to. But it's a wildlife story, of course, with a title like that. I use the lion as a symbol of what's happening to wildlife in Africa, and actually more than just Africa, around the world as well. But because I've worked in Africa for many, many years, and held the post here as a prof at the Western College of Veterinary Medicine in wildlife, I have a lot of personal experience and stories and anecdotes in this book about working with anything from lions to pelicans to leopards to wild dogs, all sorts, and also being able to weave in the conservation issue, which is so important.
Yeah, I know, it's great. I just think actually this might be a good time to show the cover. You brought this in today, and it's a great reproduction, so we'll let everybody check that out. Now, Jerry, your book is at McNally Robinson, but it's not in the Prairie Writers section where a lot of us local authors tend to be. So can you enlighten us? Where exactly at McNally Robinson can we find your book?
Well, it's shifted once or twice because it's either in the nature or the wildlife section, but like you say, for some reason, it's not in Prairie Writers. And if you look in Prairie Writers, you'll see no non-fiction. It's all fiction, which is great for fiction writers, fantastic.
Yeah.
Local interest, of course, is another potential, but again, this is about Africa, so
good point.
Not quite local.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even know that till you told me that today. It's also with the Chapters Indigo Coles line.
That's right, and at the University Bookstore.
Oh, yes.
And I've seen it in other places, in other cities, but in terms of Saskatoon, those are three possible places to get it, of course.
Right. The University Bookstore is also a great bookstore. I don't think gets enough recognition in this city, so that's another place to check it out. Now, you were the Sask Writers Guild president for a long time.
Well, just 2 years. They kick you out after 2.
Do they kick you out?
Oh, you bet. That's all you're allowed.
And you and I have been at writing conferences together, and one thing that's gone through my head is, where do you find time to write? Wasn't that a very demanding role to play?
Yeah, but you know, I'm an early riser. I'm often up at 5 in the morning and get my creative stuff done before breakfast when the phone doesn't ring.
Yeah. And
then the research, I do the reading and photographs and stuff at a later time. And you can't sit around on your duff when you're 70. You've got to get going. So, you know, I'm a woodworker and I'm a storyteller and other things like that. Might as well be active.
Absolutely, I agree. So actually, speaking of being active, you have a new book coming out in about 6 months.
Hopefully.
Can you tell us about that?
That one's called Of Moose and Men, a Glasgow vet in Canada. And again, it's a lot of personal experiences of working with moose, working with wild moose in Saskatchewan, up in the Saskatchewan River Delta, up north of Hudson Bay. I spent several field seasons putting radio collars on moose and stuff like that. Also personal experiences with tame moose, being called to Alberta to help out with a wild moose that jumped into a ranch and created havoc, and the delivery of a baby moose to a pet cow moose. Wow. And that sort of thing.
That's fascinating. And I should mention the cover for that book. The photo that's used is it's just pure Saskatchewan. It's going to be such a great cover, and I'm so excited about it.
Well, I hope the publishers will use that one because I sure like it.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing we should also mention is you have a fabulous website, very user-friendly and very visual. So can you tell us what your website is?
Well, it's just jerryhaig.com.
jerryhaig.com, that's easy enough.
And lots of photographs of wildlife in Africa mainly. And now that this book is ready to roll, I'm going to add some more stuff in and add the new YouTube video of moose and men that I only posted last night. So, you know.
That's awesome. Good for you. Well, it was great to have you here. I'm really glad we managed to set this up. So.
Well, I'm delighted. It's very kind of you, and I've enjoyed every moment.
Yes, and when the new book's out, maybe we can have you on again.
Well, that'd be all right.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks, Jerry.